Hi everyone, my name's Pan and welcome to another edition of Bluebird Corner, the Cardiff City fans podcast. Hope you had all a good weekend and enjoyed City's first game of the season. Thankfully it was a win. I think I did a podcast the other day and I mentioned there were 5 Welsh-born players starting the game. It was actually 6, someone rightly correct me. I thought Matthew Turner was English. So sorry Matthew, but yeah, you are Welsh. And there were 6 players who were Welsh-born started that game. And I was thinking, can someone tell me when was the last time that 6 Welsh-born players started a match for Cardiff City? I don't know the answer, so if anyone out there does know, please put your comments in on Bluebird Corner. So, as you know, on a Tuesday, we look back at a season. We're now on the 89-90 season. Just a little recap. The previous season to that, the 89 season, was in Division 3. Frank Burrows is the manager who didn't have much money to play with. And Frank's team finished a respectable 16th. But the same old story every season. We had to sell players. Tony Clemo was solely in charge now. Gerard McCarthy, one of the directors, left. So we sold Mike Ford, our left midfielder, to Oxford for 150,000. And Kevin Bartlett, one of our star players, he went to West Bromwich Albion for a fairly similar fee. So yeah, those were 2 of our 3 best players gone. So Frank was really getting frustrated. You know, he was getting he had little money to play with, and yeah, he always had an eye for a good player, but he just got frustrated at the end, and a week into the season decided to resign. You know, these days that wouldn't happen. They would just be sacked and pay up the manager's contract. So credit to Frank for that. He decided to go back to Portsmouth, and he was assistant manager there to John Gregory. So City appointed ex-Cardiff City manager Len Ashist from the early 80s of the promotion year. I think it was 82, 83. And he came back to the club as manager, and he brought with him, Nicky Plattner, the left midfielder. He's signed from Notts County for 50,000, but more players left. Paul Wimbledon, the industrious midfielder who did score a few goals for City, to be fair, and Terry Boyle, the hard-nosed, literally really, or broken-nosed Terry Boyle, tough as all boots. They left for a combined fee, the centre-back for 70,000. And City also, and this was the real one as a fan that, we just were so down in the dumps about, was our star player, Jimmy Gilligan, left for 210,000 to Portsmouth. It was on the recommendation of Burrows. Frank, rightly got Jimmy there. He was fantastic for us, and we were distraught as fans, really. He was without question our best player, and scored so many goals for City, strong in the air, and good with his feet as well, Jimmy Gilligan. And that was a massive loss for us. And then Phil Bater, the Welsh-born right back, he actually retired. And I think Ian Walsh also retired. And Curtis, I think, Alan Curtis, he went for a small fee back to the Jacks. So, Clemo, we got Nicky Plattner in, but we had to spend more money. We had a threadbare of a squad. So Ashurst brought in Ray Daniel. So what I'll do is I'll bring up photos of these players now, and I'll just give a little bit of background, a little bit what they're doing now, so we might bring back some memory. So Ray Daniel, the left-sided player, I think he was a left back, came in from Hull for £40,000. Ray, born in Luton, yeah. He's of St. Lucian parentage, now age 60, played 56 games for City and ended his career at Walsall in 1997. And he ended up living in the Humber and managed non-league club Hall Road Rangers. Then we brought in Chrissy Pike. He was on loan with us the season before. We brought him in on a free from Fulham. Chris was born in Cardiff. As you know, he's the uncle of Gareth Bale, now age 63. And he played 154 games for City and scored 57 goals. and then his professional career at Gilligan in 95. And he went on and finished, I think, playing football for Barry Town, hung up his boots around 2001. Then we brought in midfield player, left-sided midfield player, Lee Barnard. He came in from Swindon for 25,000. Lee, now age 66, born in Eastbourne. He was signed from Swindon, has played 63 games for City. And Lee went on to become, after his professional career, went on to be a maths teacher until 2014. We also brought in Roger Hanssbury. Roger, goalkeeper now in his 60s. He played 99 games for City, born in Barnsley, a popular figure among the City fans. He's actually 70 now. And he owned, he might still own actually, a greeting card shop after finishing in football. And Roger Hanssbury, he was a good goalkeeper for us. And I remember, we did the old chant behind on the old Bob Bank, and he was a favourite of City fans during that time. We also signed Cohen Griffith. Cohen Griffith was signed from the striker, winger. He came in from Kettering for 65,000. Cohen, now age 62, the Guyanese winger, signed from Kettering, as I said. He played 234 games for City, scored 39 goals, and now runs a health fitness suite at Astramunna College. Then we brought in winger Jeff Chandler. Jeff, now age 66, born in London. He was signed from Bolton for 15,000, played for Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, twice, and he played 25 games for City. He retired and ended up as a double glazing salesman before ending his career as a pupil welfare officer in Blackpool. And then during the season as well, we also signed Ian Rogerson. He was a right back, signing from Hereford for about 22,000. He actually played right midfield as well, so I think he was quite versatile. He played 55 times for City and ended his career at Hereford, where he's got a physiotherapy centre. So you can see there, after all the top players had left, our three best players, as I said, Bartlett, Ford and Gilligan, it was vital that Clemo released the purse strings and help Len bring in the players that he needed to be competitive. Those are the players that came in during the season. So we'll go through the season itself. So we started with Cohen Griffith making an instant impact by scoring a fine goal on his debut. City gained their first win 3-2 at Huddersfield. And although they became hard to beat, there was no more victories for another 5 matches until Bury were beaten 3-1 at Ninian Park on November the 3rd to lift us out of the bottom of the table. And that win was a prelude to our best spell of the season when City went to Fulham and thrashed them 5-2 with 2 from Pike. City then beat Preston 3-0 and then drew at Crewe, but then lose to Notts County with 2 goals from Phil Stant, and City fans will know Phil Stant ended up playing for Cardiff City. And in the next game on Boxing Day away to the Jacks, we win 1-0 with a goal from Lee Barnard for the Boxing Day game in front of 12,000 fans. So City continue in good form, winning at Warsaw and drawing with Tranmere, but City don't win any of their next 4 games before beating Brentford with a goal from Gareth Abraham. But City then lose their next 2, including a 4-0 thumping at Preston, and then beat Rotherham 2-0 and get a point at Northampton and Shrewsbury. City then get thumped at home 5-1 against Huddersfield, with Craig Maskell, the Huddersfield striker, getting 4 of their goals. City then lose at Chester with Carl Dale, another player that ended up playing at Cardiff City, getting the winner. But City only win 1 of their next 5 games when they beat Reading away with a Cohen Griffith winner. We then lose at home to the Jacks in front of 8,000 fans, and City win 2 and draw 1 of their next 4 games, although that one defeat is at Notts County, where ex-City striker Bartlett gets the winner for him. Now, City are in a position to stay up, knowing that a win at Bury in their last game would keep us up. And I remember that game because I travelled up. I think it was 2,200 City fans went to the game, and I always remember we always had a good away following. I think it was better actually in the 80s than it is now, or the later 80s. Obviously bearing in mind our home crowds weren't great, but certainly away, the fans really turned out. So that was one I remember driving up there. But unfortunately, we lost that game 2-0, and we were relegated back to Division 4 in the 89-90 season. So this is a really, really, as I said in a previous season, previous couple of seasons ago, that we were relegated to Division 4 for the first time in our history. Well, we were back there not long later. And, as you can see from that league table, it's not pretty watching there to see that Bristol Rovers won the league. Bristol City came second, and you can see Fulham are in that league. And they're now in the Premier League. Some younger fans might be surprised to see that table. But Chris Pike, he was so underrated, really. I mean, Chris came on a free transfer, scored 18 league goals in a side that was relegated, 23 in total. An incredible return, really, for a striker in a relegated side. Chris Pike was a very, very good player on his feet. I mean, he was 6'2" or 3. Some of you might remember I would talk about Chris. He was a very good rugby player. I think he played tennis as well, and he could play any one of a number of sports. He was a really talented youngster, and really he could have had. Well, I mean, for us he was fantastic, but he definitely had a lot of quality on the floor. I mean, on the deck, for a big lad, his ball control was excellent, and he was our outstanding player really that season in what was a very, very disappointing season. Our biggest crowd was actually against the Jacks, 8,350 at home, and our lowest crowd was against Crewe, believe it or not, 2,086 fans, and our crowd average that season was 3,630. So some of the younger fans may well be shocked at these kind of attendance, but we were used to that in the 80s. I think I mentioned one against Aldershot in a previous season that was actually lower than 2,000, which I think is our lowest home attendance of all time. So, that again, looking at these seasons, it was a really disappointing season. We have the highs of getting promoted, and then suddenly we're back down to what is now League Two. I mean, we're obviously in League One now. So can you imagine getting relegated again and being down in the dumps with the likes of Newport County? Let's hope that never happens. But that was the way it was in the 80s. It was a pretty doom and gloom era for us with, as I said, little money. I mean, we did used to rant at Tony Clemo, but who else was stepping up to the plate, and we were losing a lot of money each week, and that's why we had to sell our better players. But with a better sort of leadership off the field, we could have done so much better. But that's how it was. As you can see from that league table, we were relegated, and we were back down to the old Division 4. So, thanks very much again for watching Bluebird Corner. I'm going to get some goodies up in the next couple of days. So we did the gift card winner for August. We did one for July as well when we started. We've had nearly 30,000 views already, so it's been great. We've only gone for a few weeks. So thank you for everyone who's watched a podcast and also commented. Some really good comments, but also any comments is better than no comments. So please feel free to comment. But we will have some Cardiff City goodies which will be provided from our sponsors, Top Tier Cleaning. So that will be the prize for August for any new subscriber. So watch out for those. We'll do a podcast pre-Port Vale. We're playing them on the 7th of August. Looks like we're going to have nearly 2,000 City fans there. in what should be about a crowd of just over 9,500. And that's live on Sky Sports, 8 o'clock kickoff. So we'll do a little podcast pre-match, just about the teams and the predictions we think that's going to pan out. We got the first one right, 2-1 to City. Should have had a bet on that with Colwell to score as well, although I think I had Salic down and not Capaccio. But we'll do that for Thursday. And thanks very much for watching Blue Corner, and we shall see you soon. So take care.